بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وقائد الغر المحجلين نبينا محمد عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم أجر الحق على قلوبنا وألسنتنا وارزقنا الإخلاص في كل قول وعمل. Today, inshallah, we continue with verse 51 of Surah An-Nisa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ألم تر إلى الذين أوتوا نصيبا من الكتاب يؤمنون بالجبت والطاغوت ويقولون للذين كفروا هؤلاء أهدى من الذين آمنوا سبيلا. And the translation says, have you not seen those who have been given a share from the book, meaning the scriptures before us, the people of the book? They believe in Jibt and Taghut, and we'll talk about this word Jibt and Taghut in a second. And they say concerning those who disbelieve, they are better guided in their way than those who believe. So let's unpack this a little bit, inshallah. First, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and saying, have you not seen, and others as well, of course, but it says, have you not seen those who have been provided a book before? Utu nasiba min kitab. They have been provided a portion of the book before, portion of the scriptures. They believe in al-Jibt and Taghut. First of all, I want to stop at this first piece, which is يؤمنون الذين أوتوا نصيبا من الكتاب. The Prophet ﷺ received the first revelation. He received the revelation in Mecca, where it's mainly people who are disbelievers or mushrikeen, believe in idols, right? They had the remnants of the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam. But by far, mushrikeen of Mecca, right? They believed in idols and things along these lines. However, when you look at Yathrib, Medina, before the Prophet ﷺ moved to it, it was called Yathrib, it had a bit of diversity. You had people who are mushrikeen, people who are idol worshippers, but also had people of the scriptures before us. Mainly Jewish tribes that lived in Medina. And as a matter of fact, they say they came after, maybe around after, a little bit after, 70 AD, after the birth of Christ, or Isa, Jesus alayhi salam. So they've been there for a while. And this is a part of the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to come afterwards. Why? Because these believers, or like these are people of the book, actually used to tell the disbelievers of Medina, ahead of time, they used to tell them what? Said, trust us, one day we're waiting for this end of times, or the times where there is a prophet that's going to be sent. And when this prophet is sent, we, meaning the people of the book, the Jewish tribes, we will believe in him, we will follow him, and we're going to fight against you and we're going to kill you with him. Basically, we're going to be defeating you, we're going to be ahead of you. And subhanAllah, this is out of the great plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the people of Medina to start hearing about this whole notion of prophethood, of revelation, even before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked to the people of Medina. So the understanding or the expectation was the people of the book will be following who? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As soon as they hear about him, or as soon as they know about the revelation, the expectation was that the people of the book will continue on. Again, they believe already in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or they believe in former scriptures, so they follow in the footsteps of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But subhanAllah, something completely opposite happened. And instead of the Jewish tribes of Medina following in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ and believing in him, what happened is they started going against him, ﷺ. Sometimes conspiring against him, ﷺ, and the believers. In these verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to Rasulullah ﷺ, have you not seen those people who have received scriptures before you, have been given a portion of the scriptures or the book before you? What do? The expectation was that if you have had revelation, the expectation is that you'll be following in the same vein, or the same, direction of believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing in prophets, believing in revelations, and so forth. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us this incident, and they said, they believe in Jibt and Taghut. These two words, Jibt and Taghut, okay, they have so many different, like the Mufassirin had given different meanings to them, or different interpretations for them. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was reading, Imam al-Tabari rahimahullah, he had at least 9 different interpretations for this. So I'm not going to go over all of them, okay? But some say that Jibt and Taghut can be names for actual idols that the people of Mecca used to worship. Some others say it doesn't have to be specific idols, but general idols. Some say they are like idols, like Jibt is an idol, and Taghut, they call the people that interpret what the idols say. The Kohan, the not monks, but the people who kind of interpret what the idols say and try to teach them, basically the religious people that work with these idols. But what Imam Tabari rahimahullah said something beautiful. It says, وَالصَّابُ مِنَ الْقَوْلِ تَأْوِيلُ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْجِبْتِ وَالطَّاغُوتِ أَنْ يُقَالُ يُصَدِّقُونَ بِمَعْبُودِينَ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ يَعْبُدُونَهُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ. He said that his opinion of Imam Tabari, he said that what we mean by Jibt and Taghut, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means by Jibt and Taghut, is that anything that is worshipped instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or that is held in high regard instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether this is asnam, meaning idols, whether these are people, whether these are ideas, whatever it is, this is what Jibt and Taghut is. So the story behind this revelation, or part of, like, again, the reasons of revelation behind this, or one of the narrations say, that what happened is, after the Battle of Uhud, there are some of the leaders of the Jewish tribes, specifically I believe it's Ben Nadir, they went to the people of Mecca. And when they went to the people of Mecca, they wanted to make a pact, they wanted to make an agreement with them that lets you and us come together and go and fight Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So when they went there in Mecca, they stayed within the people. Again, they didn't have a hotel at that point, so they stayed with the people of the leader of Quraysh. So one of the leaders of the Jewish tribe stayed with Abu Sufyan radiallahu anhu. At that point, he was still not a Muslim, right? And the others stayed with other families or other houses within Quraysh. And a part of these discussions, first of all, they told them, the mushrikeen of the leaders of Quraysh, who are mushrikeen, they told the Jewish tribes what? Said, you're coming here to have a pact with us, or to have an agreement with us that we go and fight Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But to be very honest with you, you have revelation. You, meaning Jewish tribes, have books before us. So in that sense, you should be closer to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What makes us think that you would not, this is not a trick that you're doing with Muhammad, to come and say we're going to have an agreement with you, but you really are trying to trick us into a war with Muhammad, and then you're going to go against us behind our back. So even the kuffar of Makkah, or the disbelievers of Quraysh, did not buy this initially, because you should be closer to Muhammad versus closer to us. So the Jewish tribes wanted to kind of confirm, say, no, we're here, we want to do this agreement with you, so we're going to go fight against Muhammad with you. So the narration says, it said, okay, how about to prove your stance here, how about you go with us and bow to our idols? So the narration says that some of these leaders of the Jewish tribes went back with the Jewish leaders, with the leaders of Mecca, and they bowed to the idols. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْجِبْتِ وَالطَّاغُوتِ, that they believe, and it's something that is surprising, because these are believers in previous books, previous revelations. The first thing about a revelation is there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is only one God to be worshipped. So for them to do something as such, that's a huge compromise in that sense. And it's something that is worth, again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, like, look at this extremely surprising kind of act that they had to go through. يؤمنون بالجبت والطاغوت ويقولون للذين كفروا هؤلاء أهدى من الذين آمنوا سبيلا. But this narration did not stop there. They say also, after this, when they went back with them, they're ready, now they have this pact. Abu Sufyan was having a discussion with one of the leaders of Mecca, of Quraysh. And they told him, okay, one kind of, they asking them, because the people of the book were known to be, again, people that has revelation, so they know better. A lot of times that the mushrikeen of Quraysh would go and ask them about things. So they asked them and said, okay, what do you think? Are we more guided than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or he is more guided than us? Because you are people of the book, you understand these revelations, so tell us about this. What do you think about that? So one of the leaders of the Jewish tribe said, okay, how about you tell me about your religion a little bit more? So Abu Sufyan introduces the religion. They say, you know what? We feed the hungry when they come to Hajj and others. We feed the hungry. We provide water for them. We provide drinks for them. We provide all of these things. We actually look at our family ties and kinship ties and we take care of it. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and disavowed all of this. Rejected all of this. He left the religion of our foreparents, or foreparents, yes, and he followed a new religion. So we even have the older religion. That's what Abu Sufyan is saying. So when the leader of the Jewish tribe heard that, he said, you know what? Now that I heard what you have said, you are actually more guided than those followers of Muhammad. So that's what the verse says, what? يؤمنون بالجبت والطاغوت ويقولون للذين كفروا هؤلاء أهدى من الذين آمنوا سبيلا. They say to the disbelievers, meaning the Jewish leaders at that point, they say to the disbelievers of Mecca that you are better guided in your way than those who believe. Okay. We said what? They should know better. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the next verse says, أولئك الذين لعنهم الله ومن يلعن الله فلن تجد له نصيرا. Those who have said this and believe in this and promote this, or what? Said those are mal'unin. La'anahum means they are rejected or cursed. Cursed meaning that they are put out of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are rejected from this mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are cursed, and they are the ones who Allah, those who have said that are the ones whom Allah has cursed. And the one whom Allah has cursed, for him there shall be they find no helper or someone to kind of give him any kind of support or help. Given that what they said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a very strong reprimand for them. Said whoever says something as such, knowing what the truth is, this is someone who is cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One thing I want to say before I end this, inshallah. This is kind of the general meaning of this. How does this relate to us? How does this relate to us? I look at this and I say this is like the Jewish tribes are put in a situation where in that sense they had to compromise. But they compromised on the fundamentals, on the basics. They say, you know what, you have to prove this to us that you are not kind of tricking us. How about you come to our idols? They're compromising on the basis of the whole foundation of the religion. And sometimes, again, we live here, sometimes we're asked to compromise on things that are lower than this. But when it comes to the fundamentals of our religion, we have to hold strong to our belief. When we're dealing with others and trying to find maybe work in interfaith, I'm looking at the situation here that we have, for instance, for Palestine. You might be working with other groups that might not have the same exact belief. Having a working relationship with others, that's not something in it of itself is rejected. What happens is when you start compromising your belief, your foundational belief, your fundamentals, to reach an agreement, that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us about here as well. Of course, the Jewish tribes in that case were going against the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were certainly on the wrong side of history, let's put it that way, right? But even in terms of guidance, knowing they should know better because they have some guidance. What we're telling ourselves as well as we learn from this is what? We need to be, first of all, strong in our foundation, but we also need to think about how to hold strong to our belief, not to compromise in this belief, in our belief, as such the way these Jewish leaders of the Jewish tribes of Medina did, to come to an agreement with those disbelievers. But also, if you know something, again, you don't say something such as, like, those disbelievers are better than the belief of Muhammad, because they should know better as well. So be careful also what we say about others, right? Let not our, our differences with others take us to an extreme in what we say as well. So even when we have differences, and sometimes you might have animosity towards others. Animosity towards others should not push us towards saying something that is not true. We have to hold true to what we believe is true. Even if that means sometimes you might praise your enemy, or you might say something correct about your enemy, because that's the truth. It's not in that sense that you're praising your enemy, but it's saying something true about them. So that's what I kind of, maybe the reflection that we want to take out of these verses is hold strong to your foundations. Don't compromise on anything that is foundation from your belief, but also don't let the hatred that you have towards others, or the animosity that you have towards, not the hatred, the animosity that you have towards others, push you away from saying what is true. We should always hold to what's true, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.